Hello everyone, welcome to this video, and we are currently gathered where I would have started my tutorial about bridges. In fact, I did start it here and then I changed my mind. You see, the idea was that I would make a tutorial about building bridges and telling you that this is not an acceptable bridge, that you can go more natural and you can, with tiny differences, make better bridges. And then I expanded all my bridges and made them larger and more detailed until we got a final result, which we're flying toward now, which is this. And then it struck me that I had to explain at the same time that if you only have a bridge and not the environment for it, then you haven't built a bridge. So this time I have made my nice bridge, but I build up the environment. And then before you know, things are getting out of hand. I mean, arguably, this is undeniably, this is a lot better with all the rest to it. So what did I do? I created a piece of the road where this bridge is supposed to be for in the first place, and made it a lot more interesting by creating paths along the river that go under the bridge on both sides, with little details added to it. And then it struck me that I maybe wasn't making the right video. You see, I'm not here to teach you how to build a bridge in great detail. You know how to build a bridge. You just place blocks on top of each other until you're happy with it. More than skill, time and the willingness to invest time into something is what makes a nice build. So to still give you an idea of how I made this bridge, here's a tiny time lapse. You will see that I first created the arch in dirt, just to know what the shape would be. Then I carefully chose my materials, made sure that it was right, made sure that the structural integrity of the bridge made sense. By which I mean, if you don't add pillars to a bridge, it will not look great, because in reality such a bridge would collapse. Anyway, some music. Right, let's continue. I'm just trying to give you general ideas. And one general idea that I really have is, if you're going to build a nice world in Minecraft, then you should actually not start building. Not start building houses. No, you should start with what you have, the natural landscape, and create pathways. And a bridge is part of that. So, as I was already doing so, because at the end of my so-called building tutorial, I couldn't resist myself and build a path along that river back to where we were beginning. And by the time I got there, I changed my mind about my video. And so, let me quickly walk you around. You see, if you start with that, if you start with making paths, and how do you do that? Well, you take a good look at the environment and try to envision what a natural path would be. And once you have that, you choose a style and you apply it consistently, and that's a very big point. No matter what your paths look like, mine are like this, a path block in the middle and some coarse dirt around it. And one detail that I find that makes a lot of difference is these half slabs. Every time you have to jump a block, they not only help you move along the path, but help with the immersion and make the path a lot more attractive. But so the key of it all is that you need to find consistency. So you made a choice, you stick by it, and that's what I did. So, let's follow that path and see a bit of the tiny details that I put in it, because that's how something can grow. And if you start like that, then there will arise natural places where you will just see where it's good to build a city or a building, a house to start with. It can be an intersection, it can be a suitable place by a river, but I like to do things in that order. So, having told you the most important that I needed to tell you in this video, I will now take some little time to guide you along my path in the dark. Obviously, we've lit it up. So, what have I done? I made sure that I place some lighting every here and there, and I very subtly added bushes just along my path, so, well, to keep the perspective right, okay? Also, every here and there I added little details. I think I passed one already. Yes, I added a little dead tree here. This goes down to a tiny little beach area. It's the little things that can make your build a lot more convincing. So let's go up here and we arrive at the second bridge, because the second thing I found about my tutorial was that I was actually building the same bridges, the same type of bridges all over again. And there are so many different types of them. And this is one of them, a hanging bridge. So here is very quickly to give you an idea how I did this. So this is how I started it. I tried to simulate how it would hang as good as possible with dirt, And once you have this and you're happy with this line, then you have done the hardest work. Then it's just filling it in with slabs and whatever you want to use for it. Then it's just filling it in with whatever you want to use for it. Yep, very simple. You create a path and dirt is good material for it, where you think that a hang bridge would naturally be, and then you build it up. Think about if you let a rope hang and you attach it here and there, how would it hang? And if you think it's difficult, I mean, do it in real life and watch it and imitate it. That's what we're doing here, right? And then you add some details. I didn't want to make it very complicated, so I just used slabs, but I alternated them. I added a bit of fence and decorated it with some lamps and some flowers. I felt the urge to do that. Is it a good idea? I don't know, it looks fine. So when you come here, you can go in two directions. In this way, goes through the woods, and we have a little fireplace here, and I placed the cabin. So that's how things can naturally grow. I first made that path, and then I realized, well, that would be a nice place for a cabin. We have arrived after a long walk, we need to rest. Here is a good place. So made a little modest cabin. Not too many details, because that's not what you would typically see in one. If I go this way, I made, well, that's not a bridge, but it's a bit of support along a rocky side. If you have enough imagination to see this. And then I made my second hanging bridge, etc., etc. And that's a bit what I wanted to show you. So I'm starting off with parts. I make sure that these parts are nicely detailed. And in my world, when I have done this, when I'm happy with what I've made there, and I'm completely not there yet. I mean, I've just covered a small part of it, and you shouldn't begin too big as well, because it can quickly get out of hands. But when I'm done with all of this, then I will start dropping buildings, and things will just fit. Now then, here we are. That's actually already the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, but since you are still here, I just imagine you have enjoyed it. And if you did so, would you consider subscribing? You'd be doing me a great favor. And on that note, we'll see each other the next time. Goodbye.